welcome to Podcast. It's me, super producer Alantown. Today we're diving into Seth Simons, a divisive figure whose attempts to reshape the comedy landscape left him sidelined. Let's break it down and explore why his actions have had such polarizing effects on the industry. His most infamous contribution to comedy is his talent for turning minor grievances into grandiose public spectacles. This approach has drawn both criticism and mockery from peers who see his tactics as excessive and misguided. Bit of a tall poppy syndrome going on there, if you ask me. He's weaponized old podcast clips to get Shane Gillis fired, accused Gas Digital of hate speech, and launched similar crusades, all while failing to build a meaningful career himself. Instead, he churns out melodramatic, uninspired poetry that barely resonates with an audience. There are also murmurs about Seth's sex-pissed behavior behind the scenes, adding a thick layer of hypocrisy to his self-righteous crusades against others. Not exactly a good bloke, is he? It's hard to take someone seriously when their own shit stinks worse than the people they're calling out. And who could forget when Lily's cousin, James Abernathy, allegedly trolled Seth into revealing his phone number, which may have ended up in the Gas Digital racist live chat. Bit of a cock-up on his end, eh? His tirades lack nuance and often feel like he's shadow-boxing imaginary enemies. It's like watching a dog bark at its own reflection, convinced it's an enemy. Bit of a Muppet move, really. Seth Simons has alienated nearly everyone in comedy with his relentless outrage campaigns, creating noise that distracts from actual discussions rather than driving real change. His call-outs don't feel like advocacy. They feel like attention-seeking tantrums designed to stir up reactions. Instead of tackling systemic issues in comedy, he fixates on personal vendettas. This approach doesn't build goodwill. It burns bridges and ensures even those who might have agreed with him keep their distance. To be clear, accountability in comedy is important. The industry has a long history of problematic behavior that deserves real scrutiny, but accountability requires thoughtful solutions, not tweet storms. Seth's approach, it's less about ethics and more about power chasing through controversy. His never-ending outrage parade lacks humor, depth, or substance, making it impossible to take seriously. Empty moralizing is scaffolding with no structure, propped up for appearances but serving no real function. Bit of a waste of time, really. Silly cunt any. Seth Simons has built a reputation on sowing discord in comedy rather than fostering progress. Comedy thrives on freedom, creativity, and open dialogue, not rigid exclusionary tactics. That's the real lesson here. Stifling expression weakens the art form, and when voices are silenced unfairly, comedy suffers. Hard case, but true. And let's be real, Seth Simons has faded into near obscurity despite his best efforts to stay relevant. His name barely comes up anymore, and he's crumbling under its own irrelevance. The comedians he's attacked continue to succeed, while Seth's influence dwindles. His relentless targeting of more successful comics has left him professionally and personally isolated. When everyone you attack surpasses you in talent, career success, and likability, maintaining relevance becomes impossible. Tough break, mate. The comedy world has moved on, leaving Seth to shout grievances into his own self-imposed echo chamber. Thanks for tuning in to Podcast with me, super producer Alantown. I appreciate your time and attention today. Lily will be back Saturday. If Seth Simons tries to cancel someone and their career thrives, is he just an unpaid publicist? Bit of an own goal, that.